Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hartford Whalers expansion franchise here on NHL 24. Welcome to the Year 5 preseason here, as we are going to take on the Philadelphia Flyers from the Wells Fargo Center, as right off the rip, Travis Konecny wasting no time, not even letting me get to the intro here, as right away the Philadelphia Flyers bounce on top, as Konecny there, Cody Ceci, free agent signing, also Jyrki Konttinen, 20-year-old phenom, first overall pick from 2025, a 40-goal season last year, number 94, as we'll see him on display a little bit, but couldn't even get settled into this episode as here at the Wells Fargo Center, and yes, still the Wells Fargo Center, as we're still rocking here on NHL 24, but I was going to maybe go on to the latest game, but I figure it's best just to keep trucking on with this franchise, and when the new one comes out this upcoming fall, I'll get a new expansion franchise going at that moment. But let's get something going here. Let's answer, as we are here in year 5 now. That sounds crazy to say. Of course, the first franchise, the first series that I got going here on the channel, as we try to answer back. Good puck movement there from Blade Jenkins, as there's that aforementioned Konttinen with it. He was the first overall pick the year after we won the lottery, so we missed out on getting a Connor McDavid type talent. Now in the slot for McCann, and he beats Javon Marks. And again, it is the preseason, so we do have our 73, 74 overall goaltender in there in Javon Marks, but I didn't think it would be this bad right off the bat. And there's really not much help defensively, and the Flyers pouring it on early here, and I had to look at the pads there on our goaltender. It has Dallas Stars pads for some reason, and just 2 minutes in, not even, the Flyers up 2-0, but it's the preseason. We're not. I mean, of course, we're trying to win, but that's not what's of utmost importance. As promptly Grigory Denisenko trips up a man, and he will head to the penalty box. So Philadelphia already up a pair, as they have a face-off in the offensive zone. Javon Marks, former second-round pick of our Hartford Whalers. We traded him to Florida in the Brandon Montour trade, and then got him back as we sent them Scott Lawton and Oliver Bjorkstrand at the ensuing trade deadline. But now here on the penalty kill, we got our first taste here. Down a man, as that off the wall, nothing doing, as Philadelphia regains possession now into the zone, as Gurianov back to Daniil Chayka, and Daniil Chayka, one of the young guys, 24 years old, we're really hoping can take a step forward here in the preseason and establish himself as a defenseman on our third pairing. Andrew Peak now will clear it out, as that's about a minute now killed off on this Philadelphia power play. And our structure here in this preseason, not going to watch every game, maybe we'll tune into parts of 3 or so, depending on how long they take. Even in this game, I don't think we're going to spend the whole time in here. Maybe just watch the first period, get settled in, as Gurianov, a 1-year free agent signing, just on a prove-it type deal. Low risk, high reward, hoping he can provide some goal scoring on our bottom lines. Is now Roosevelt, a young Philadelphia Flyer prospect here, former first-round pick, sniper there at the center position. And now Philadelphia trying to get something going, can't get possession, as now Kulik for Mantha going towards the net. Mantha in front, he goes forehand there. And a save there by Marks, and a rip from the point by Cates, blocked, and out in front, as Philadelphia to get some pressure going, but Marks slams the door a couple times. And now we have Leo Carlsson, Philip Zadina, who just earned himself a 4-year extension, as off the face-off, Marks again will cover. And for this first game in particular, the line, how I assembled them, I really just went chemistry, so our second line and our fourth line here in particular have very high chemistry. And now Philadelphia is still with us. Brzustewicz turns it over to McCann. He gets a shot off. Nothing doing. High pressure now. McCann still with it. We cannot get possession, as loose puck now into the corner. Provorov up the boards for Zadina, as we finally do get it out. Going back the other way. Jacob Perreault along the boards, as he'll rip that short side. Easy save into the corner. Now Perreault kicks it around for Leo Carlsson. Carlsson now towards the net. His pass in front intercepted by Gwinnett. Up for Konttinen. The young phenom coming off a 40-goal season, joining that exclusive club of teenagers to score 40 goals in the National Hockey Club. Sami Maki, the number 1 overall pick the year before Konttinen, as he goes towards the net, and nothing doing, although he does get it behind the boards. Now Konttinen, as he's met by Maki, his pass intercepted by McCann. McCann acquired at last year's NHL draft, 70 points last season in only 68 games his first year in Philadelphia. And there's Jordan Spence, defenseman we traded for from the LA Kings for Damiani. Over for Maki, his shot, and a pad save covered up there by Forsberg. Anton Forsberg was very effective over his career in Ottawa, backing up mostly Matt Murray, and now he signs a 1-year contract to join the Flyers, backing up Carter Hart. And then here's Bobby Brink into the zone. Brink towards the net into the corner now. His centering pass too tight of an angle as it went for Marks. And now intercepted at the point, Dermott for Vrana. Vrana in front as he regained possession. A second chance off the rebound, and Marks looks to have settled in a little bit with those Dallas Stars equipment. What were we short on? Hartford Whalers pads or something? As our top line back out there, Riley Damiani, AHL contributor last season, one of our top points getters at that level, along here with Blade Jenkins, who takes it in. Jenkins centering pass intercepted by Dermott as Damiani was not caught up yet, as Vrana now with it in the neutral zone over for Dermott. As that's poked away, giving chase will be Cody Ceci, former Whalers expansion pick. Spent a few seasons with our Whalers. Cody Ceci, a decent right-handed two-way defenseman, as he'll take it all the way into the zone, trying to go coast to coast, as his centering pass intercepted by Spence, who takes it back the other way. Now a pass into the zone for Jenkins, as teams look to get a line change going. Jenkins hit off the puck. That's picked up for Kulik. For Ceci, now off the puck by Roslovic. Roslovic back with it, as he can't get a shot off. Battling there with Joel Farabee, as he does eventually win that battle in front for Guryanov. Now back for Roslovic. Roslovic a shot, as that went wide. Now Dermott with it, as he spins off a man Farabee. For Mantha along the boards there. Farabee back with it. Farabee on an expiring contract, so we missed out on someone like Dylan Dubé in free agency, and I think Farabee could play that role very well. Now Dermott, a lead pass there for Roosevelt, and his shot far side saved by Marks. Good angle there as he came out of the net a little bit. Now loose puck picked up by Guryanov going towards the net. His pass intercepted going back the other way. No, Cates was hit off the puck by Brzustewicz using that stick. Brzustewicz, someone else who, along with Daniil Chayka, were looking to take that next step in their development. Brzustewicz, our second-round pick back from Episode 2, our initial draft, as Brock Besser intercepts it, and he'll take it the other way. Besser into the zone as he loses possession, trying some fancy moves to Moala. Now past the logo into the zone as he'll dump that along the boards. Met by Chayka up for Peak. Andrew Peak now behind the net, and so he'll give that back to Chayka. And Chayka will find Andrew Kopp, a one-year free agent signing. Kopp coming over from Detroit. Now Dennis Chayka intercepts it, and his shot blocked in the slot. Cates now up for Dermott for Tumala. And again, he'll just dump that along the boards, as Chayka will pick that up. Now in front for Peak. Andrew Peak trying to find some space. Loose puck picked up by Denisenko now along the boards. As Peak does get it back. Denisenko now over for Besser. Has some space into the zone. And he's met at the line there. Absolutely devastating hit, as that was Sampson. Sampson now up along the boards heading up ice. As he will take that one into the zone over for McCann. McCann up for Continent, back for Sampson. Good puck movement there on the entry, especially from a defenseman. Now a rip there from Sampson. And what an impressive shift from the young defenseman, I believe, Ethan Sampson. Oh my goodness, had that big hit. Took the puck all the way back the other way. Set it up nicely on a good chance, and then gets it back there on the rip. Just a very good puck movement there by Philadelphia. As Javon Marks now 3 goals allowed in his first taste of NHL action. Only 4 games at the AHL level last year, as we brought him in from his junior squad. So I mean, these growing pains, of course, to be expected, especially when Philadelphia seems to have most of their starters out there. Like we have Mark Scheifele, Gabriel Landeskog, a couple other guys scratched for this one. And now Jacob Perreault takes that in, trying to get one on the board for Hartford, as he got close to the net, but again shut down by Forsberg. Now Carlson on the draw, 7-2 in the faceoff. Now make it 8-2. Advantage Philadelphia on the faceoffs. Gwinnett back the other way, as he will enter the zone. His shot goes wide. Carlson now with it for Maki. Maki intercepted there in the neutral zone, poked away by Carlson, although McCann does regain possession now for Perreault. Perreault finds some space, as he'll dump that in, give some chase into the corner for Grans, as he does win the battle there with Perreault up for McCann. Now a feed there for Farabee, who takes it in the final seconds here. Farabee, a shot save, Marks rebound in front, and McCann is there for the backhand, so make it 4 goals now. And I don't think we can change the goalies here in a CPU game, a CPU versus CPU game, but I wish we could, as hopefully they just take initiative and do it on their own, as I had higher hopes for Marks. I knew he wouldn't be too phenomenal, but I didn't think 4 goals in 1 period would be the case, as he is set to be our number 3 goalie this season, pending an injury to Daniil Tarasov or Yaroslav Askarov, although we also have Scott Ratzlaff down there at the AHL level, so maybe we might see better results, as we'll probably throw him in for the next game, but I don't know if we'll watch that one. I think we'll just take that one to a full sim, as 4-0 after a 1 period here in Philadelphia. The rest of the way, we're not going to watch the entirety of this game, but instead I'll just cut here and there and show some highlights. Connecting now another zone entry here early in the second period. Already one early on, just I think 12 seconds into the game, trying to get another one there, as Marks was able to swat that one away. Now Hartford on the counter rush, as Graeme Clarke hit off the puck and Philadelphia regains possession. And now Brzustewicz will enter the zone. Centering pass for Denisenko for Damiani. Back for Denisenko, and that was a rip off the blocker of Anton Forsberg. And now behind the net, Denisenko giving chase, as Gwinnett does regain possession for Philly, and they will clear the zone. Now Philadelphia, another rush. Vrana in the slot, a shot knocked away by Marks into the corner for Brink, who peels back to the forward or to the centering pass for Vrana, as that's snatched up by Javon Marks. Now Chris Stahl into the zone for Philly, feeds for Cates. His rip, a glove save by Javon Marks, as he flashes the leather now over halfway through the second period and this game overall, as Marks has settled in nicely here in the second. But I feel like last time I said that, we met our demise soon after. So now on the draw is Leo Carlson against Jared McCann, as Carlson does win that back for Brzustewicz. Brzustewicz over for Provorov against his former team here. Lead pass there for Zadina into the zone. Now centering pass for Carlson. As Carlson, some nifty moves there with the hands, but couldn't get that in the back of the net. Zadina, a backhand chance, as again knocked away by Forsberg. And a very good chance there for Hartford, but we couldn't find the back of the net. And now Andrew Kopp back the other way after forcing the turnover. Centering pass, rip there. I think that might have been Denisenko. Good chemistry by these two guys, as Denisenko hit off the puck though by Dermott. Now battling back behind there is Kopp, and now loose along the boards. Still battling. That's Besser now giving some help. And now Ceci ends up with it. Held up by Besser. Still, no one can really get possession, as a delayed penalty against Hartford. Now Continent into the zone. A good rip that time. What a shot he has. Now back for Dermott, as Philly does get that extra attacker out there. But play will stop. And Philly, another power play here. We were able to kill off the first one, as Brock Besser heads to the box this time. So let's see if our PK unit can go a solid 2 for 2. Back for Brink. His shot into the corner off a save by Marks. Now Mantha for Brink at the point. Along the boards now. Getting in front of the net. Easy access VIP entry, as Chayka does end up with it off the save by Marks. Now into the zone for Roslovic. A nice lead pass that time. Jenkins now, as he goes towards the net, can't get a shot off. Going towards the net, just barging into the zone. Now along the boards, Roslovic held up, loses possession for Cates. Numbers for Philly, although Chayka, good recovery that time, gets it back for Jenkins going the other way. Now for Roslovic. Roslovic in on net, a shot saved by Forsberg. Just the 10th shot of the game for the Whalers. We were outshot 14 of 4 back in that first period. And we'll do it again here. 51 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. As Philadelphia with it. Mantha now going across center ice now for Cates. Cates in the slot for Roosevelt, a shot in front. Kulik knocked that one back behind the net now along the boards. Kulik now from the corner, going towards the front of the net, back for Mantha. Cates going towards the net. Cates, a shot into the top corner, beating the blocker there of Javon Marks. Eyed it up, analyzed, and found the back of the net. 5-0 now Philadelphia. And we are definitely transparent on this channel. We're not trying to hide anything here, as we're suffering a very, very tough game right now. Although, like I said earlier, a lot of our reserve guys there. Javon Marks, his first taste of NHL action, whereas the Flyers kind of put all hands on deck for this one. But we're trying to analyze our roster, trying to get some of these younger guys some run, and these are the growing pains that come with it. But certainly not an indication, I think, of our team that we're going to be enjoying here in year 5, or at least hopefully enjoying here in year 5. There's less than 5 minutes left here in the second period. And now Fairby into the zone off a good feed towards the net. His shot saved by Marks, as he's knocked down by Jordan Spence. Perreault now into the zone off a nice pass from Jordan Spence. Perreault into the corner behind the net for Zadina, who goes back the same way that Perreault came. Now Perreault try to get a shot off camp. Chayka will now, as that's gloved by Forsberg. Just 62 seconds remaining here in the second. Now Carlson on the draw from the right of Forsberg. Tied up there. And eventually get picked up by Zadina, as he had it in front of that. Couldn't get a shot off, back for Chayka now. Carlson to Chayka. Carlson to Chayka. Chayka a shot, and that's going to be blocked by, I believe, Philip Zadina. Hartford Whaler now back for Chayka for Peak. He takes a rip, and that goes wide. Perreault, no stick. He'll just kick it around right into the stick of Cody Ceci, as he's hit off the puck by Peak. And that will do it here in period number 2. So only 1 goal given up. A huge improvement, of course, from that second period. But at this point, we just need some saving grace. We need to find the back of the net, and hopefully we can do so in this ensuing third period. Brzustewicz now into the zone. Back behind that for Roslovic, now for Guryanov. Back to the point for Chayka now. Brzustewicz as a soft shot there, blocked away by Forsberg. As our Hartford Whalers did change our goalies, we skipped ahead a bit here in the third period, gave up one more goal to Travis Konecny, his second of the night. So he and Jared McCann both with 2 goals. As we're trying to get something going here in the offensive zone, Gwinnett eventually ends up with it. As now Grans for Kulik. Pass there for Brink into the zone. Kate's a shot. Good save there. I think that's Tarasov in net, if I'm not mistaken. Clarke now with it, trying to get Hartford on the scoreboard here. Over for Peak in front. Peak a shot, and that's snagged by Forsberg. Just 7:17 left to play. 6-0 Philly. CC goes up ice. Nice feed there. As Dermott could not field it cleanly. And another penalty here. I think a trip this time. As we will head to the penalty kill for the 3rd time in this game. This time, Graeme Clarke just 1 for 2 in this game. Hopefully we can make that 66% instead. Philly 5 shots on those 2 opportunities now for Guryanov. As we did to get that faceoff win. That's something we have improved on as the game's gone on, at least, is in the faceoff circle. Now Mantha picked off there by Spence trying the centering pass. As Guryanov over back for Spence. Now for Kopp. As he goes towards the net. Light shot as he met some contact. Now Spence with it into the zone as Hartford has owned most of the possession here on this penalty kill. As Provorov trying to score in his former stadium. And now a rush for Philly. Noah Cates into the corner. Tried a centering pass, was hit by Zadina. I'm sorry, by Provorov. Zadina now with it, as that does get out of the zone. Final 20 seconds on this Philadelphia power play. Roosevelt over for Kulik as he'll enter the zone. Bester now peels up ice, and that will do it. So 2 for 3 on the penalty kill at least. And now just 3:55 remaining. Jack Rozovic leading this 3rd line. As again, we do win the faceoff. Guryanov now back for Rozovic up ice. As he hesitates and he's knocked into his bench. Oh my goodness, I think we need a line change. Or at least that's what the Flyers defenseman there was trying to insinuate. As he tried to take matter into his own hands. But now Rozovic out of the bench back the other way as his shot short side gloved by Forsberg. Now Damiani on the draw, less than 3 minutes remaining. Luckily in this first preseason game, let's just get out of here at this point. But not before getting a goal, hopefully. Damiani try to work it in as he does regain possession along the boards. Damiani now back for Graeme Clarke. Graeme Clarke to the point for Maki, his shot off the forehand. And that did not generate much power. Easy save there for Forsberg. Grounds back the other way. Along the boards now, Grounds peels in front of the net. Grounds back for Mantha. Has that powerful shot blocked. And now Graeme Clarke dumps that one up the boards as we hit the minute mark here in this first game of the Year 5 preseason. And like I said, we'll have another couple games of action here. We're going to have probably a full sim of the next game. We'll see who, hopefully we have some goal scorers in that one as Damiani trying to get something going here. Hit off the puck. Good defense there by Gwinnett. As he has a feed there for Kontanen. Kontanen trying to add another point to the stat sheet here. I think he has like 3 assists. As now Graeme Clarke over for, Daniil Chayka, who loses possession for Jared McCain. Intercepted there by Blade Jenkins, takes a rip, and again met by the glove of Anton Forsberg. Looking for the preseason shutout here. His first time wearing the Philadelphia Flyers sweater. That would certainly be a good first impression in front of these devoted and passionate Flyers fans, as I am one of them. And now face-off Peak. Blocked in front, another weak shot off the second chance. Easy save by Forsberg. And now Kopp on the draw against McCann. Advantage that time, McCann back for Dermott. Just 20 seconds now remaining. And he'll feed McCann into the zone. McCann with it along the boards. Peels in front, gets a shot off, and that's going to find the back of the net for the hat trick with 12 ticks remaining. And the hats are flying here in Philly. What a soft goal. And that actually is Yaroslav Askarov, who's come in to mind the net in this third period. Gives up that soft one off the rebound. Just kind of kicked in. I mean, I don't know why he couldn't keep possession that time. Just towards the net. The shot, I don't even know how that ended up going 5-hole. I'm pretty sure it hit Askarov, unless it hit one of the defensemen right there. I don't know, it was too quick there to tell, but 3 goals for McCann, 2 for Konecny, as this top line of Konecny, McCann, Kontanen absolutely tearing us up. 7-0 Flyers, but again, as I said, we're not really going for the wins. I mean, that's always what you want the result to be, but more so we're trying to evaluate these guys as Philadelphia. One last rush, Kontanen, as that almost went through. Askarov just barely able to get the glove there, and we cannot get out of this game. Just so many stoppages here towards the end, but 1.9 seconds remaining. One more face-off. Philadelphia probably will win it and get a slap shot goal, but that is not the result, luckily. So 7-0 Flyers. and let's hope we can improve on this performance going into our next game. And as I said, in the second game against Washington, we will just fully sim it. We're going to put Askarov in as our starting goalie, stick with the same lines, but I think for our next game, we are going to shuffle the lines a little bit, get some new guys in the lineup. So we do go on an early power play, I saw, but no goals again. We do outshoot them 11-6, as we'll now sim the second period. And we get a pair here. Andrew Kopp, the newly signed Hartford Whaler, gets our first goal of the Year 5 season here in the preseason. And Philip Zadina, a late one as well. So Sergei Bobrovsky, now one of the goalies here with the Capitals, will sim that third period. And we get the shutout. So we respond with a shutout of our own. Not a 7-goal shutout win, but we do get a pair of goals. And Askarov stopped all 23 shots he saw. So a good response from him, Andrew Kopp. His first goal as a member of the Whalers, as I think now for this third game, we'll sim ahead to the third period in it and then just tune into the conclusion here against the Carolina Hurricanes as they come off a playoff appearance. And as I said, we are going to go ahead and simulate this game against Carolina. And we'll go all the way to the third period and then tune into the conclusion. And Daniil Chayka is in net, our backup for this upcoming season. 1-1 after 1. Andrei Svechnikov, an early period goal. And then Denisenko nets his first here in the preseason. Now simming period number 2. And we jump on top 4-2. Jacob Perreault, his first goal in the preseason. Svechnikov nets another. Denisenko also nets another. So he's on hat trick watch here as we tune into this third period. And Hunter Brzustewicz, one of those young defensemen we're really looking to get going here in this preseason, build that into a regular season spot, maybe on our third defensive pairing. So as said before, we are going to just tune into this one, a CPU versus CPU game, as we do here in this expansion franchise series. And as I said, Daniil Chayka should be in net for our Hartford Whalers as we go against the Carolina Hurricanes. They were a first-round exit in this last year's Stanley Cup playoffs as the New Jersey Devils beat them in, I think, 5 or 6 games. Pretty convincing there from the Devils. Now our Whalers with a 4-2 lead as we're 1-1 so far in this preseason. As Shane Gostisbehere will give that to Victor Olofsson for Kotkaniemi, and he'll score right off the faceoff again, just like we saw in that first game. Very good rush from the Hurricanes here. Kotkaniemi, as he nets that one just 25 seconds into the period. And we mentioned Victor Olofsson, number 71 there. He was our expansion pick from Buffalo. Spent just 1 season with our Whalers, or not even actually, as we ended up trading him at that year 1 deadline. But he's coming off a 70-point season, a career high for Victor Olofsson, left winger on this first line for Carolina. So make it 4-3 as Kotkaniemi wins another face-off. That time, nice defensive play to make the entry a little bit more difficult as Svechnikov on hat-trick watch, snagged there by Tarasov with the glove, as we're not even a minute into this third period. A lot of action so far in our own zone, as now Leo Carlsson on the face-off, Philip Zadina, and Frederick Leonard, number 86 at right wing, our top prospect in our farm system. Now Gostisbehere off the deflection. Now Olofsson for Timmins, a shot, and I think that was paddled away by Tarasov, if not for some misdirection in front. And now Jordan Spence trying to get rid of it, as he's had himself a very good preseason so far in the early goings. And now Timmins, after recovering it in the neutral zone, loses possession. Now Sami Maki over for Jordan Spence, our acquisition from the Kings back this past offseason. Cannot get it out of the zone. I mean, of course, Carolina at this point, a well-oiled machine. I think they've made the postseason every season of this franchise, whereas we've only made it once so far, trying to get back there in year number 5. And now another rush here for Carolina. Olofsson with it, as he will get towards the net. Again, Jordan Spence making a nice play there. As Denisenko will take it up on hat-trick watch. Grigory Denisenko, as he'll get hit off the puck, and that's Dylan Coghlan up to Gostisbehere. He'll dump it in before taking a big hit. And then Sami Maki against the boards, fighting with Nieto, as now Besser with it for Hartford. Some good action early on in this third period. Let's see if we can hold the 1-goal lead now. Did enter, of course, it was a 2-goal lead, but Jesperi Kotkaniemi had something to say about that. And now here's Brzustewicz, a goal in this game as he works towards the net. Nice shot to create the rebound as Besser does retrieve it. And then Provorov takes a big hit out of the zone, and Toffoli will recover. Wheeling behind the net now as he will feed that up, but that goes astray. Picked off by Brzustewicz, who will take it into the zone for Hartford, although Dylan Coghlan will take that right back. Now Guryanov with it towards the net as Gostisbehere gets it to Nieto. Now Carolina coming up as Dylan Coghlan will feed to Foley, a shot that goes wide. Almost beat the glove there of Tarasov. Loose puck now for Jake Evans, former Hartford Whalers legend. He scored the first game-winning goal in our first win ever back maybe episode 4. Gavrikov now off the rebound for Tanev, and here's Jake Evans. Evans trying to work towards the net, picked off there by Chayka. Nice takeaway. As Chayka, his overall is fully revealed now at this point at 77. I was really hoping for like 79, maybe even 80, but he did not crack that as Perreault shot, and that was gloved away. And now Evans with it. And slow feed for Tanev. Back up for Evans into the corner. And now Tanev to the point there for Coughlin. His rip, and that's knocked away by Tarasov. And now Evans in front on this centering pass for Tanev, and Tarasov slams the door. And now our top line back out there as we're heading towards the midway point of this third period. Carolina face-off win there as that's blocked. Retrieved here by Andrew Peak. Up the boards for Zadina over for Frederick Leonard. Leonard tried to get Carlson as he does, and then a rip there for Zadina, I think, was blocked in front. What an absolute snipe that would have been if it would have landed. Now Carolina gets some good puck movement for Tanev into the zone. His shot, easy save by Tarasov. And that was actually Gavrikov, the defenseman, who blocked that as he was sent to the dressing room to get evaluated. And he was traded to Carolina last season. Signed a big 5-year deal with the Dallas Stars. Played like 50 games for them. And then they traded him to Carolina. And now Zadina, I'll try the feed pass there for Leonard, as that was knocked away by Gostisbehere. Now Svechnikov. Nice feed there for Olofsson, who's hit off the puck there by Andrew Peak. And then Chayka turns it over here. As Zadina able to retrieve now behind the net. And so go up ice into the neutral zone, into congestion as Kotkaniemi for Timmins. Loose puck picked up by Kotkaniemi. As he goes towards the net, loose puck in front as Svechnikov tried to put that hat-trick goal home to tie it up, but Tarasov had other plans. And something else about our backup goaltender, Daniil Tarasov, he has, I think, the highest locker room chemistry of any player on our team, so if we were to get rid of him, that wouldn't bode well for the rest of the roster, as we are able to hit man off the puck. And a loose one here for Mangiapane, our captain's first game of preseason action, as he does get the shot on net, gloved by Salminen. I think we had Mangiapane. Yeah, we have him here just on the 4th line for his first taste of preseason action. Going to get Mark Scheifele, Gabriel Landeskog, and Tom Wilson involved here in the ensuing games. And now Carolina with it in their own zone as Gostisbehere gives to Timmins. I feel like Gostisbehere has been out there like the whole entire third period, as Damiani trying to lead a charge the other way. Damiani over for Mangiapane. Mangiapane on net, and he can't really get a clean shot off. Damiani back to the point for Spence. His rip blocked by Johansson. And slashing is the call there by Jordan Spence. So Carolina here trailing by 1 goal. We'll head to the power play with just over 5 minutes remaining here in the third period. And now here on the defensive zone draw, now down a man, as Hartford does win that. Andrew Kopp off the faceoff will clear that one, lobs it into Carolina's zone. We'll give chase as well, as Gunler able to spin away. Carolina trying to get a rush going, as they will now. Gunler into the zone, a lot of space to work with. Into the slot, a good rip, as that's gloved by Tarasov, holding strong here down the stretch. They say your best penalty killer does have to be your goaltender. Daniil Tarasov proving it in that instance. Is now another face-off win by Hartford up the boards out of the zone, as that was caught. And now Gunler with it. And Rozovic very aggressive here on our penalty kill, as Carolina does find some space. Svechnikov now over for Kerfoot, as Maki able to close him off, and Rozovic able to get the clear, as we're more than halfway through this penalty kill. Very good kill so far, although not right now. Kotkaniemi breakaway on the power play, and Daniil Tarasov able to close the door there. Not the best move by Kotkaniemi, who does have the goal here earlier in the third period. Another shot there for Carolina in front, loose puck. Now into the corner. Kerfoot for Gunler, a rip. And a save by Tarasov as Maki is able to get it. And Rozovic does not get the clear. Carolina keeps it in. Kotkaniemi, a rip there for Svechnikov, trying to go short side there off the one-timer, as we could not clear the zone. Hurricanes, I think, with a couple more seconds left on this power play, but they do have the offensive zone draw here. This time to the right of Tarasov, Jake Evans against Graeme Clarke, as Clarke does win that one. And we are back at full strength. Daniil Chayka now with it. Chayka up the boards. And that's going to be a loose puck, as Peak now hit off the puck. Nieto with it in the neutral zone. Jake Evans now, as he gets a rush going for Carolina, trying to tie it up here late in the slot for Nieto, and he beats the glove of Daniil Tarasov. What a feed there by Jake Evans, making something happen here late. Matt Nieto, a seasoned veteran at this point, trying to earn a spot on the bottom lines here for Carolina. And they had too much zone time coming off that power play. Really needed to get something going back the other way. And eventually they do get something to fall, as Carolina has knotted it up here in the final minutes. And let's see if we can answer. And now 2:21 left. We have Brzustewicz on the draw. Also Jacob Perreault and Denis Gurianov on the ice for Hartford. Gurianov couldn't really get anything going as Brzustewicz towards his own goaltender will peel off now up ice. As his feed intercepted there in the neutral zone by Toffoli, who takes it back the other way. Poor read there by Brzustewicz, although he does make it up with some good back check. Now Brzustewicz, as he does dump that up the boards. Timmins with it in the corner, being held up by Perreault. Kicks up for Toffoli, and he will find a man. Just a lot of good rushes here for Carolina. Our defense just caught on their heels. A shot there in front, snatched up by Tarasov on the rebound. Now 44.2 remaining, but we could be in store for our first overtime action in this preseason. Brzustewicz over for Provorov. Provorov into the zone. Referee kind of in the way there, and so he'll dump that in for Gostisbehere. And now for Svechnikov the other way. Svechnikov hit off the puck by Zadina, although picked up by Olofsson as they have a rush here. But Zadina will get it back. A good feed there for Frederick Leonard, as he couldn't really build any steam into the zone. Gostisbehere does get it now for Kakaniemi. Against the board, centering pass for Olofsson. Now Kakaniemi with it. And they get the goal there with 12 seconds left. Andrei Svechnikov, the hat trick. And just like we saw in Game 1, we surrender a hat trick in like the final 10 seconds. Oh my goodness, we probably were better off not even tuning into this game. Up 4-2 entering the period. We give up 3 straight goals. This one with 12 seconds left on the clock. And that's for Olofsson, Kakaniemi, the rebound, and Svechnikov, the beneficiary there, as his stick was just in the right place at the right time. And this top line for Carolina really putting it to us in this game, just like Philadelphia's top line was in Game 1. But this one is still not over. 12.3 left. Let's get this face-off win, Leo. As we do, back for Maki. Can we develop something quick here offensively? Maki over for Zadina. It took like 5 seconds just to get into the zone. Zadina behind that being held up. And that is probably going to do it. One last rip here as we couldn't get anything off. So the Carolina Hurricanes overcome a 2-goal deficit for the straight win here in the third period. They get that late goal with 12 seconds remaining. Daniil Tarasov otherwise was pretty good in this game just before we were looking at it. So we have not fared well here in these live look-ins in this preseason episode. We might be better off just simming it, as they're going to play the limbo here. I have not seen this one in this game yet. I mean, we're still on NHL 24, so I don't think this is anything new, but I have not witnessed that yet. So 5-4 here from Carolina. We have 5 games left in this Year 5 preseason, but we'll probably only get 1 or 2 more look-ins and try to assemble our final roster as we set up our first game for Year 5. And now for this game against the Islanders, remember they did sign Quinn Hughes in this past offseason, making the Metro even tougher than it already was. But we are going to throw Javon Marks back in net for this game, give him one last taste of some preseason action here. As we see in that first period, only 1 allowed there, which is a step up, but that did come just 34 seconds into the game there by Kyle Palmieri. And assuming the second period, another goal surrendered there by Wahlstrom. And assuming that third period, as we get shut out again, Bo Horvat beats Marks there, but only 3 goals allowed there by Javon Marks. Definitely a step up from his first performance, as now we are halfway through the preseason. As I said, maybe just 1 or 2 more looks at this team, but we are going to simulate this game against Pittsburgh, as we did just make a couple changes to our lines. We added Tom Wilson into the lineup. So after this one, just 3 games remaining. Our next one against Columbus, which we probably also will sim, as we'll sim this first period 1-0 again. So we're shut out for the 4th straight period, as Pickering got one there very late, just 10 seconds left on the clock. Scott Ratzlaff, his first performance here in this year's preseason, 2023 draft pick in the 3rd round in our initial Whalers draft. But Andrew Mangiapane does beat Tristan Jarry, so we do get 1, but still trailing here entering the 3rd period, and we fall 4-1. So really struggling to get some goals in this year's preseason, but we still are without Scheifele, without Landeskog, and also Brandon Montour, our marquee defenseman, as we fall to 1-4. And I think at this point it might be worth putting Montour in the lineup, especially just for these final 3 games, which we did end up doing offline. So we'll give Tarasov one more start probably here against his former team, the Columbus Blue Jackets, where we did select him in that expansion draft. And again, shut out in the first period. Dumais, the lone goal scorer. As we do get 2 there in the second, one on the power play by Leo Carlson and Grigory Denisenko, I think our leading point getter right now. Another goal for him, I think, is 3rd already in this preseason. So a pivotal 3rd period here as we do fall again, falling to 1-5 now here in the preseason. Patrick Laine did beat Tarasov. He's just wrecked us over the course of this franchise. But now, simming these last 2 games, we are going to probably just tune into the 3rd period of each of these next 2 matchups. We have now thrown Mark Scheifele into the lineup, as well as Gabriel Landeskog. Brandon Montour also in the back end. So pretty much a full look at our team we plan on using in Game 1 of this Year 5 season. Not quite, as we do have Scott Ratzlaff back in net, as he did allow a pair here. We alternated goals. I'm sorry, we had 2 straight. We had Zibanejad started us off, then Scheifele and Montour, 2 newly added guys to our lineup, and then Panarin gets one late. So 2-2 after 1, as they did double our shots. They get 1 more there on Ratzlaff, Zibanejad on the power play. And we're going to tune into the rest of this one. And Zibanejad on hat-trick watch as we are down 1 goal, 1-5 in this preseason. But again, it's about the process, not so much the results at this point. Our first look at Gabriel Landeskog in a Hartford Whalers sweater. And I'm very excited for that. A lot of X factors there on the Rangers. As you have Adam Fox, Zibanejad, and Artemi Panarin still on this team. But here we are at the XL Center. It's been quite a while, and it's great to be back. The 3rd period here in Game 7 of this Year 5 preseason. Just 1 game remaining. Coming up next against the New Jersey Devils, as Montour behind the net will give to Sami Maki. As Scott Ratzlaff is in goal still for Hartford. 2 decent showings so far in 2 games. His first taste of NHL action after being drafted in the 3rd round back in the 2023 draft, as Leo Carlson dominating in the offensive zone right now. Eventually now for Scheifele over to Sami Maki. Maki skates it towards the boards. Now tried centering that for Zadina as Zibanejad picks that up. You never want to see him going the other way, although he was shut down by Montour. Now Panarin eventually does get it in as he'll dump that for Montour, who picks it up for Hartford. Being pestered there by Zibanejad, finally over for Sami Maki. And he'll feed Mark Scheifele going towards the net. Mark Scheifele a rip, and that'll be gloved by Jet Greaves. And now a face-off in the offensive zone as the Rangers will win that one. Adam Fox, just 2 years left on his contract. Hopefully we'll see him in free agency in a couple years. Now Hartford in their own zone as Brock Besser will take that out. Assesses his options, gets over for Montour, who tried to feed that up. And eventually that does go back behind Hartford's goal. Sami Maki now over for Montour as he'll feed that up. And back the other way now. A long pass there for Kopp as he does have some space going towards the net. Andrew Kopp, a shot. Pad saved by Greaves. Sami Maki now does get possession for Landeskog. A shot in front as Adam Fox corrals the rebound. And now Pierre Engvall for Lizotte. Lizotte signed in free agency here, his first season with the Rangers. As Miller will dump that in. Retrieved by Jordan Spence as Maki a backhand pass up the boards. Guryanov eventually does win possession now for Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson should have just took that in, but he does feed that for Roslovic as we had to slow down to get onside. Now Spence, a nice feed there for Wilson, and Guryanov off the ricochet there. I think that hit the side of the post. As Guryanov has had a strong showing in this preseason, certainly earning his keep. Signed a, as I mentioned earlier, low risk, high reward type 1-year contract. As he did struggle with it that time, then Roslovic fighting against Lazar for it. Lazar now up the boards as he'll dump that in. Now Spence behind the net. That's a nice pass up for Scheifele as Mark Scheifele does take that in. Mark Scheifele in front for Tom Wilson as that was intercepted. And now a rip from the point with Sami Maki, excuse me. And good vision there by Greaves through the congestion as he's able to snag that one. And now this time to the left of Jet Greaves as Hartford does win that back. Spence over for Brzustewicz. Now Leo Carlson back for Spence as he couldn't get possession. Too many passes here. Too many extra passes as we do get possession back in our own zone here. Scheifele for Carlson as he gets that over for Brzustewicz. As he will feed that into the zone. So Brzustewicz versus Daniil Chayka for our second spot on our 3rd defensive pairing. Really the last piece of competition here. Probably also Graeme Clarke versus Jacob Perreault as McConnell Baker the other way. Nice feed. And that's met by the pad of Scott Ratzlaff. Maybe the first shot against here in the third period for Ratzlaff, the former Seattle Thunderbird of the WHL. I've attended a few of those games back in my day when I lived on the West Coast for a few years. Now back on the East Coast, safe and sound, as Brock Boeser will enter the zone. Tries to be a little too fancy, as we've seen earlier in this episode, as Lindgren will take it the other way. Good feed there. Well, almost a good feed, as that was intercepted by Kopp, as Zibanejad steals it in the neutral zone. Zibanejad at the point gets LeBlanc, another free agent signing on this Rangers team. Landeskog with it. The Rangers come off a season in which they won the President's Trophy, but they were still outed in the first round of the NHL playoffs. As LeBlanc now. Nothing doing there. His pass on the side of the net picked up by Andrew Peeke. Peeke will feed up the boards for Boeser, poked away, regained by Panarin. As now Dumoulin with it. Brock Boeser giving chase as Dumoulin wraps around his own goal and feeds that up for LeBlanc, who has a lot of space going in. LeBlanc for Panarin in front. Couldn't get a clean shot off. And now Daniil Chayka with it. Really needs to close out this preseason well, as a nice pass there for Denisenko. And he couldn't get one off. Perreault just trying to slap shot there. And no dice that time. Lizotte now poked away on his zone entry. Now picked up by Jacob Perreault, who I mentioned he and Graeme Clarke probably in a little bit of a battle there for our fourth line spot. And I think Perreault does have a slight edge to this point. Now Sharangovich back to the point for Schneider. Now Dumoulin back for Sharangovich. As Perreault does win that, and he's tripped up. So we haven't had many power plays, I don't think, in this episode, if any. And we will get our first look this time as Schneider goes to the box for tripping. Andrew Kopp out there with Filip Zadina and Gurianov. Also Leo Carlsson at the point this time, trying something new as he's paired up with Brandon Montour. Good kill to start for New York as they do get the clear. Montour now for Kopp. Gurianov now with some steam into the zone. Gurianov towards the net. Created space pretty well there, considering he's working against Adam Fox, but eventually closed off as, again, the Rangers get the clear. Now Montour for Andrew Kopp. Kopp does lose possession there, but picked up by Gurianov into the zone. Loose puck to Lazar. Back for Adam Fox. And again, the Rangers get the clear. Cannot get anything going. As again, Trocheck there on the forecheck. And a great feed all the way over to Lazar. What a play that was. No way we should have allowed that to happen. My goodness, Vincent Trocheck, tremendous forecheck. Living up to the name. And Curtis Lazar that time shorthanded. As we had our chance late, you saw Ratzlaff trying to go for the poke, which probably should have got that, and that left the door wide open. And you're going to walk in that time, every time, when it's that wide open. Great goal there, created by Trocheck. And we cannot surrender goals like that shorthanded. My goodness, we have not had many good glimpses here in this video. But I swear our team has good things to come here in year 5. As Adina pushing forward there. And eventually closed off against Sharangovich. Just trying to willpower his way through the Rangers. Just 3:20 remaining still on the power play. And Kopp tried the long stretch pass that time, intercepted his Rangers. Almost a chance brewing there, closed off. As Hartford now just time for one last chance. We haven't had any so far. And we had a chance there, but Gurianov couldn't handle it. And that eventually went offside. Now our first power play unit out there. Wish we had seen them a little bit earlier, as Landeskog will take it in. Clean rush for Landeskog. And he tried to be a little too patient that time, and Jet Greaves read that all the way. It's going to be interesting to see how Landeskog fits in with this team. Of course, I envision he'll be on our first or second line to start the season, as we made that blockbuster trade in the offseason episode, getting him over from Colorado, as they also lost Cale Makar, so the Avalanche may be suffering a bit of change of the guard there. As Lazar feed for Johansson, closed off by Ratzlaff. Johansson still with it. Now Trocheck in front. Good stick lift that time from Brzustewicz, asserting his presence in front of the net. And I did say he's kind of outplaying Daniil Chayka, which I didn't expect. And if that were the case, if he does win that spot, that would give us 4 right-handed defensemen and just 2 left-handed, that being Sami Maki and Provorov. As we do have the pulled goalie here, extra attacker on the ice. Boeser in front for Landeskog. Couldn't get a shot off. Now Brzustewicz, his shot just wide of the net. And now to the point for Spence. Now Boeser with it. A shot. And he was too tired to get a good one off. Saved by Greaves. Now an offensive zone draw to the left of Jet Greaves. Zadina with it. His shot just wide. Had a good chance in front. And that one back for Zibanejad. Over for Keandre Miller. Miller, a shot as that's just wide. Ripped that into the empty net. As now Jordan Spence for Mark Scheifele. Scheifele, a trio of Rangers defenders there, just mugging him. As Besser does eventually get it. Why is he still on the ice? He has no energy. And now being held up against... I guess because he's one of our extra attackers maybe, but why not bring in Leo Carlsson instead? Now that one cleared all the way down. Going to go for an icing. One last chance here. Let's get a win off the draw. A goal here. We haven't witnessed any goals, I don't think, in the 3 look-ins. I was even going to forego the game against the Devils here to close it out, but we might have to tune in because we can't go this whole episode and not witness any goals. What is that? We've witnessed like 11 against or something like that. Now Makia's shot, as that was the chance, stopped on the forehand, and that will do it here from the XL Center as we fall to 1-6 now in this preseason. I think we've lost 5 in a row, but again, to reiterate, it is not about the result, it is about the process, and we're just trying to tinker with things here, experiment, and get the best formula for our Game 1, and I believe we're opening this season against the Washington Capitals. But before we get there, we're going to have Yaroslav Askarov in net, our starting goaltender, to close us out here and hopefully get us some high spirits as we head into the Year 5 regular season with a win. As we're now here to close it out against the Devils in this Year 4 preseason. It's been very tumultuous, but hopefully we can at least close out on a high note this time, as again we do have our starting goaltender in net for the finale. And we are down 1-0 as our inability to score continues. Nico Hischier nets the lone goal in the first period, as shots were even 10-10. Nothing doing there in the second, so we are going to enter this game in the third period. Just 1-0 on the scoreboard, advantage New Jersey. As we're desperate to get something going here. No goals in this episode. What an anomaly it's been. But as I've reiterated, I think we have very good things on the horizon here in Year 5. And hopefully you tune back, not only for the next episode, but for our journey as Year 5, really a make-or-break type season. Got to get back to the postseason. It's been too long, even though it's only been a couple seasons. It's been too long, and we're desperate to get back now. Here to the action as Luke Hughes up for Jesper Bratt, turned over there at center ice, as we will have the rush the other way. Landeskog for Zadina. Weak glove save back for Montour. Loose puck now for Maki. Tried to get a shot off, but couldn't. And even though he whipped, he did knock someone down to the ice. Just that goes to show how imposing and physical he really is. Now Landeskog, loose puck in front for Zadina, and that one just wide. Maybe a potential 30-goal season out of Zadina. Scheifele in front for Landeskog. Now back to Scheifele as Hischier does take that out of congestion, out of harm's way, as he'll lead the charge back towards Hartford. And now Scheifele with it. Now for Zadina, a 2-man rush here for Hartford. Building some steam. Landeskog assessing back for Maki as he can pull the trigger. And Maki did, but he was turned away. And now behind the net, Landeskog just winning these physical battles. Montour will find the back of the net. Finally, we get something going. I'm glad we tuned in to this game. Finally on the board as we knotted up here. Tremendous puck movement on that series, just on that shift, really, as Landeskog dominating out there. And hopefully that's a testament of what's to come in the regular season. Still undecided on who his line mates are going to be, but if Montour can keep finding the net for his second goal of the preseason, we won't really have to worry about the forwards too much. And also, Fabian Zetterlund signs a contract with the Devils, coming back over from San Jose. And now knotted up here at the XL Center with 16:20 remaining as Brock Besser picks that one up. Montour now fresh off that goal for Kopp. Kopp gives it to Carlson. Carlson a shot, rebound in front, and that almost made it past Akira Schmid, but he was able to get the glove back there and stop it. Now Kopp out there. We have Leo Carlsson on the wing for this one, seeing how he can complement Kopp. And now Peak at the point as his shot, I don't know if that was knocked away, but went past the net. Now Carlsson against the boards. Kopp now, as Schmid will take that and cover it. And we see here now, like with our full roster in, it looks like we just have such a different team than even just missing one or two of our key guys. I think our chemistry is as it's high as it's been. We'll take a look at our lines to round out the episode, but every line looks like it's at least +1 for chemistry, but mostly in the +2 range, which we haven't seen too much. And now Peak for Carlson as he's intercepted by Dougie Hamilton. As he'll take that the other way. Dougie Hamilton wheeling now, hit off the puck. Very good physical play there, as that was Daniil Chayka throwing the body. Andrew Kopp trying to work it out. as that one does go up the boards for Chayka. And that's kept in. Chayka now back with it as he'll feed Peak. Chayka, the defenseman up there, trying to lead the charge for Hartford. Neither of them are really offensive-minded guys either, as Dawson Mercer now with it for New Jersey. Feeds over to the wing for Zetterlund. He was probably the top forward, I think, in free agency. As Mercer off the post, and Brzustewicz will take that. Brzustewicz still with it, as he took the scenic route into the zone here, but it was effective nonetheless, although being mugged now by Dougie Hamilton as he gets Montour back over for Sami Maki. And even our defensive pairing, as Sami Maki will go to the box for slashing, our defensive pairing of Maki and Montour, as our first pairing on defense is +4 for chemistry. Although I don't know if we're going to keep our top two guys together throughout the course of the season. Also have Ivan Provorov, and Jordan Spence looks to have emerged as a really good addition. We'll see what his final overall comes to, but it looks like he's going to be like an 82, 81 type guy, which, considering what we gave up for him, we'll take that any day, especially when he has that offensive-minded mold, which we don't have in any of our other defensemen. And now New Jersey with it on the power play as Holtz will give for Hischier his shot, as he got the lone goal early in the game for New Jersey. That one went wide all the way back into the Devil zone behind the net as Bratt, a bounce pass off the boards for Hischier. Nico Hischier now, and he'll feed for Bratt on the rush. His shot padded by Askarov as that does trickle away back to the point for Hamilton. Now for Holtz, for Hischier. They got all the H's on this one with Holtz, Hischier, and Hamilton. Now 1 minute left in this power play for New Jersey, as Tom Wilson did dump it in that time. And now Hamilton with it, and so he'll work it into the zone for Hischier. Hischier towards the net, back for Bratt, I think that was. Now for Holtz, his shot, as Montour did block that, and Jordan Spence does recover, as now less than 30 seconds on this Devils power play, as we hit about the midpoint of this third period in this final preseason game, finally getting out of it. It's been a long ride, but luckily we're having some good hockey here to close out despite the result, as Kopp with it now. Tie game here for Hartford, trying to close out on a high note. Brzustewicz fighting against Jack Hughes, and a long feed there for Kopp, as he will go towards the net. Kopp trying to centering pass there for Carlson, as Besser will retrieve it now back for Kopp. His slap shot, good save there by Schmidt. Nice shot from Kopp. Did not see that coming. Now back for Besser. His rip was blocked by Bratt. Broken stick in the process. And now Luke Hughes being held up against Carlson does get that for Pulak. And now for Mercer. Brock Besser with it now. Fighting, still regains possession. Besser in front, tried short side as he does regain possession off the ricochet. And now in front for Montour. Rebound, Landeskog! And he is absolutely denied by Schmid. Besser now off the rush. Full pressure for Hartford. What a save there by Akira Schmid. And now still with it, full pressure as Miles Wood loses possession to Scheifele. Now Landeskog, his shot, glove save off the rebound. Besser hits the side of the net. Looks like the Devils will get it out, as Dawson Mercer finally does. What a series there for Hartford. Could not get one home for the late lead. Akira Schmid standing on his head, as now Landeskog back the other way. Feeds Zadina. Zadina into the zone. Offside. Did that go back? I don't think it did, but offside nonetheless, and we'll have another draw here. And apologies, amidst all that action, my cat is just going crazy right now, so I might have had to cut a little of that rush out, but what exciting hockey we have going on here. I think she's all excited too, and she's matching my energy here. Landeskog now in front for Zadina. Chance tried a short side forehand, and that went just wide, but you gotta love the offensive zone prowess that Hartford is demonstrating in this one. Devils with their fourth line out there. I think Jonathan Marsh or so I saw was on the ice. Brought him in, I think, on a one-year deal, as he was a free agent. As Holtz loose puck gives chase now into the corner. In front for Kunin. And then it's Luke Kunin with it still. And now Holtz a shot, and that's blockered away by Askarov. A shot right in front, but tight angle. And Askarov had all the leverage that time as that went out of bounds. And now Gabe Viardi on the draw for New Jersey. Another free agent signing here, brought into the Metro Division. I feel like we were so active as a division this year in free agency. And now Chayka with it, going towards the zone, as he's trying to earn his keep on this roster. Going to be tough to decide if we want to go with him or Brzustewicz. Although I guess we could alternate as Reichel back the other way. Zachariah Reichel, former number 3 overall pick. I forget what draft that was, though, over the course of this franchise. But the Devils did make it to the playoffs last year, There were seven out of the 8 teams that made the playoffs in the Eastern Conference were the same from the year before, except New Jersey, as they were able to supplant the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, if you're already in front for Zetterlund, 2 free agent acquisitions trying to work together for that one, but Hartford put an end to that chance. Now, Chayka over for Mark Scheifele, fresh off the bench, over for Denisenko, now for Gurianov, as he tried to work that one, finesse that one in, but Blankenburg does get possession. Now, less than a minute left of regulation, and that one dumped in. I thought that was going to go out, as it did stay off the boards, off the high boards, and now peak up for Mark Scheifele. Scheifele splits a couple guys there in front, and that was Landeskog. These guys working pretty well together, Scheifele and Landeskog. Might have to keep them together on the top line. Maybe put Besser there as a sniper. We will see. And as I said at the end of the episode, we will just take a quick look at our lines. So stay tuned for that as we preview what to look for in our first episode of the Year 5 season. And now we still have some time to play here in this one as Jack Hughes taking it in. Dangerous as a good defensive play. Kopp able to get that for Carlson. Carlson trying to find some space as he was knocked to the ice by Nico Hischier. And now Hughes over for Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton going to reset, try and waste some more time here. Don't want Hartford getting any time going back the other way as Holtz, a good feed there for Luke Hughes. Along the boards now being held up by Spence. Still a loose puck, now taken back by Kopp. As he will get that out of the zone. A couple more ticks left here as that will take us into overtime. So I didn't want to jinx it, but I said we might have some overtime hockey in store in this one. But last time I said that the Flyers went on to score, or maybe not the Flyers, I think it was the Hurricanes went on to score with like 12 seconds left. So I had to keep that one to myself. But some overtime hockey here to end this Year 5 preseason. What more fitting way to do it as we're out shooting them 32-23. But Akira Schmid, what a performance. And I'm going to assume that solidifies his spot on this team, probably as their backup goaltender. I forget who the starter is at this point. As Carlson, a turnover the other way, breakaway here. Game on his stick. Carlson denied again, a big time save by Schmid. And now 4:31 left here in overtime. Carlson back out there on the draw, and I didn't even really edit our 3-on-3 lines at all, so I don't know if we're going to see Scheifele or even Landeskog. That was definitely a foresight on my part as Jack Hughes back for Jack Hughes. They tried a little extra pass that time. 2-on-0 there. Bratt and Hughes not often going to be denied. Now Besser the other way. Brock Besser trying to work against Hamilton as he does get a shot off, and that was saved again. Leo Carlson and Besser still out there. And I believe Montour, the defenseman. Dougie Hamilton with it. As he will lead the charge back the other way. Has a man. Centering pass for Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes! That was deflected in front. Askarov was caught in a desperate position, but luckily Leo Carlson back the other way. Carlson now in on net for Montour. His second goal of the game, and he will finish that as the Hartford Whalers win here in overtime, as we are able to close out this preseason on a high note. 2-6, but a win here, and that's all you need to carry some momentum into the actual regular season. A lot of bright spots in this game. Akira Schmid was phenomenal for New Jersey, but not enough in the end, as we had that nice rush there. And Brandon Montour, 2 goals in this game, as we did enter down 1-0, but our marquee defenseman, as I referred to him earlier in the episode, very good feed there by Leo Carlson, as we're really hoping for him to come into his own and establish himself as one of the top playmakers in the game. And it's good to see our team there at center ice as we pay tribute to our fans and we get ready for this Year 5 season. But don't go away just yet, as I think we have a trade coming as we wrap up this preseason. But before we get to that point, we'll take our first look at our lines that we're going to use in Game 1 as we open against the Washington Capitals. So Gabriel Landeskog, Mark Scheifele, and Philip Zadina will be out there on the first line as we get that +2 for chemistry with a sniper, a playmaker, and Landeskog being a power forward. Even in just 2 games, he made a big impact for us there in the preseason. 2 assists with a +2. Same with Scheifele, playing a couple games, did score a goal. Then down to the second line, we're going to have Leo Carlson open on the wing. A pitiful -6 there in the preseason, but a goal and 3 assists, which you like to see. He's more of a puck mover, which can hopefully open things up for Brock Besser. 4 assists, no goals, but still somewhat productive compared to the rest of the team. Then centering that line will be Andrew Kopp to start. Only 1 goal there in the preseason, but I love the balance he brings, and he brings good chemistry there to that second line. Can also go down to the third line, and we might at some point just move Carlson over to center and then bump up someone like maybe Mangiapane or Tom Wilson up to the second line. But for now, we're just going to try and spread out our talent a little bit instead of hoarding it on the first 2 lines. So solid third line here with Mangiapane, our captain, Jack Roslovic and Tom Wilson. So we have two-way guys and then a power forward here. And I think they'll be super steady there on the third line with a +2 chemistry. Each of them at least 30 years old. And then on this fourth line, Denis Gurianov, 2 assists. I thought he was a little bit more productive, but I think he did show some flashes. And hopefully playing down here with Grigory Denisenko, who tied Brandon Montour for our leading goals with 3. Hopefully they can establish some nice chemistry, as I think they're probably going to be on the bottom line most of the season, and I did mention a trade, so looking at our center position on the fourth line, definitely a spot I think we need to upgrade. Jacob Perreault had some flashes, but overall not too convincing, to earn a roster spot. And then looking at our scratched forward here, Graeme Clarke, he did get some interest over the offseason, as he was a restricted free agent. I went through the trade market offline and just saw some teams were interested, and a lot of teams actually did express interest in him. So we're going to try and work a trade moving Graeme Clarke in an attempt to upgrade our fourth line center, which I think would really make this team a well-oiled machine, lines 1 to 4. And I think that might be the last piece we're missing, at least when it comes to forwards, as defensively, Sami Maki and Brandon Montour with +4 for line chemistry. So Montour 5 points in just 3 games. We saw him a pair of goals there in that overtime winner. So he had a very quiet 51-point season last year. I don't know why. I just thought he had a down year, but his first year since being brought over from Florida, and he was as good as advertised. So hopefully he and Maki can propel their game to that next level. Then we have veterans here, Ivan Provorov and Andrew Peeke on our second line. Peeke being that defensive defenseman, right-handed shot. Provorov, the two-way defenseman, entering his 3rd season with Hartford. His point total down 10 from the year prior, but still a productive defenseman. And we're going to use him on the power play and penalty kill. And then our final line, a little inexperienced here. Daniil Chayka just coming in at 77 overall. No points there in the preseason with a -3. Last year he played about 20 games, 6 points with a +5. So I think he was pretty solid last season. And hopefully starting out on the NHL roster to start this season bodes well for him rather than being called up midway like he was last year. And then Jordan Spence, our acquisition from Los Angeles, 2 assists, a -6 though. Spent some time there with Sami Maki, missed most of last season, but hopefully he can get a little reemergence here with a change of scenery. 82 overall, but we still have, that's only about 75% scouted. So hopefully he comes back around that range, as Chayka at 77 is pretty low for our starting lineup, but great chemistry along all our lines, especially defensively. And hopefully we can work a trade for, like a veteran center, a two-way guy to man this line with the sniper Gurianov and the playmaker Denisenko. And scratched, I mentioned we have Clarke, and then we also have Ronnie Attard, a former 3rd-round pick from the Flyers. He was a late signing towards the end of the offseason, just a filler there for the AHL, but we're going to have him as our healthy scratch defenseman as we look at the AHL real quick, because we wanted to send Brzustewicz down, as he'll be a top-line defenseman here. For the 22-year-old, we figured it was best to keep him playing and developing down there in the AHL rather than just being a healthy scratch most of the way, although we did consider maybe rotating him and Chayka depending on how Chayka opened the year, but we'll at least give him a little bit of a sample size before we do that. And we'll just headline some guys here. So we saw Jenkins and Damiani earlier in the preseason. Then Frederick Leonard we also saw. At this point, I would say he is our top prospect at over 58 points last year. His first season in Poughkeepsie. Hopefully he can propel his game this season. Then also Andrei Vorobiev. I'm very excited to see him. 25th overall pick back in the 2025 draft. That was our lone playoff year so far. He comes over from the KHL, 37 points last season, going to open on our second line. And like Leonard, hopefully he can find his way to the NHL here soon. And another guy here was Braden Swartz, 3rd-round pick from 2024, a two-way forward. Was decent last year. His first taste of Poughkeepsie action, 28 points. So hopefully he can improve as well. And then goalies, we have Javon Marks, who we saw, and also Scott Ratzlaff. But Marks, that elite potential at 76 overall. He's not too far away from playing at the NHL. So we also have Askarov and Tarasov as our goalies, but we're going to try and work that trade, as I said, for that 4th-line center to round out our team. And I did explore some options offline, so I kind of already know what we're going to do, but I will take you through what I originally was seeking as we come back here to Colorado. We, of course, acquired Gabriel Landeskog this past offseason, and we were trying to go back for more as Tyson Jost, I think that's how you say it, Tyson Jost, former top 10 pick of the Avalanche. Of course, went to Buffalo for a little bit, but has since in this franchise found his way back to Colorado. Only 15 points in a full 82-game season with them, but looking at his scouting, it says he would fit on our 4th line, which is perfect, and also would be a good penalty killer, which we need. We need another two-way guy there. on the PK. And then someone else I was looking at was Chris Tierney here, 33 years old, 56 points last year in the AHL, which is pretty good. But even going back to his season in Columbus, 28 points there, which is solid. We don't need anything crazy on that fourth line, but it says he'll fit on our first line or our third line, so I wasn't really going to dive into that. But Yost, he just proved to cost too much. I thought we might be able to get him relatively cheap, but not the case. So then we were looking around, and the next team under actually just happened to be is Columbus, and they're stacked here at the center position. They have Donovan Dublowitz, who was the 3rd overall pick back in 2023, selected the pick prior to us drafting Leo Carlsson at number 4. Also have Kent Johnson here, just 24 years old. Boone Jenner, they're I think their captain, 34 years old. Connor Zary comes over from Calgary. So they're just stockpiled at the center position. Also Jesper Vokfist, Luke Foudy. So Cole Sillinger is all the way down here, former 12th overall pick. And he's been up and down through the AHL back to Columbus. So he hasn't really been given a fair shake, especially with those guys in front of him. So over the past 2 seasons, just 39 games combined of NHL action. And prior to that, he spent his entire year with the AHL squad here in Columbus. So I think, talk about change of scenery, he is absolutely desperate for that, being a former top draft pick, then being just supplanted in the lineup by just a bunch of other guys. So I think Cole Sillinger will go back to the scouting. It does say he'll fit on our fourth line, also the penalty kill, so we will take that. So our one last move we're going to make here, I feel like we've been very heavy with the trades in recent episodes. I usually am not. I'm usually stockpiling picks, but we'll see if we can maybe give up a prospect in this. Oh, we're going to give up Graeme Clarke, that's right. So I don't know if straight up we'll get it done. We'll give it a shot, as they are going to make us add more. So at this point, I'm just going to go down position by position, see if any of these low value guys show up in the green that they want to maybe add to their farm system. It does not look like they're interested really in anyone that we'd be willing to give up. They do like those 2 goalies we just drafted, but looking at their trade value, I thought they would come up much higher than they did. So not quite a miss on these picks, but I thought their trade value would be much higher than it is. But we'll see, maybe as they progress a little bit in the next year or two, maybe that does improve. So at quick glance, there wasn't really anyone that I saw they were interested in. We might just have to throw in a 7, and maybe that would get it done. But I feel like we've been trading so many picks here recently. Is there like a prospect that we can give up? I don't know if we really even want to mess with our AHL guys right now. We're pretty set at that level. What about Linus Brandl here, a 7th round pick from 2024? Can we just throw him in and call it a day? And we cannot. So I think it might take a 7. Maybe we'll just try locking in down here. We drafted him a couple years ago in the 6th round, playmaker. Can we just throw him in? We cannot. So I guess we will just have to try a 7. I think we're already down a 1st rounder for this year. We have Buffalo's 2nd, which probably will be a pretty late pick. They're well equipped. So a 7 for this year or a 7 for next year? We don't even have a 7 for next year. My goodness. So I guess it will have to be a 7 for this year. Let's try and see if they'll just take some salary. I mean, it's only $100K, but not even. What if we take that away? Will that make a difference? So that did make a difference, was the salary. Wow, they wouldn't do the deal over $100K. 100 measly K, but I think that's the last piece we needed in order to, really feel confident with this team going into year 5. As I did look around the NHL prior to recording this segment of the episode, and I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we're definitely a playoff team compared to the other teams, although our Metro division, just as I've reiterated in almost every episode, is just so tough. Hopefully we can hold up this year, as there was no chemistry change, still 0 chemistry on that 4th line, but we'll see how Cole Sillinger does as the newest addition here for our Hartford Whalers, as we'll also just throw him on the 3rd penalty kill for now. And also, we went over the line slightly before, but for the power play, penalty kill, really everything else, I just left up to the assistant coach. I usually do not do that, but we've struggled on our power play. We've struggled penalty kill, so I figured I would just leave it in their hands. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's a long, strenuous episode here getting through the preseason, but we have to be thorough, and we have to, really evaluate our players, our roster, and get the best product we can out on the ice, as we are set to open our Year 5 season against the Washington Capitals, and playoffs on our mind. We're looking to get back there, and not only that, we're looking to advance all the way to the Stanley Cup and corral the first Stanley Cup here for our Hartford Whalers. But as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.